But another thing that I wanted to ask is with the story coming out after international break, Neymar again with another terrible injury, sidelining him for the rest of the season. At his age, the shit that he's been through, is it over? Is the Neymar era done? Because they say that he had to get surgery on his ACL. He's not a young man anymore. Where do you think he goes after this?
He's 39. I mean, I'm
Which
bad.
is
39. My God, no, 31. My bad. I don't.
I was about to say. I was about to say that's fucking old.
He's 31. He's not terribly old. He's on the wrong side of his career, but he still has years left. The tough part for me is I think Neymar, as a club level player, playing in Saudi Arabia, once he's healthy and he's able to play again, he's going to be entertaining to watch.
Yeah, of course.
I think the big question and what a lot of people have, because I think his European career is kind of over. I think he's at this point, he's gone to Saudi Arabia. Now he has a tear ACL. I don't think any Champions League level team is going to sign him. If he was going to stay and play in Champions League, he shouldn't have gone to Saudi Arabia. I think that really hurt him. And now with this injury, it's definitely going to hurt him. It almost kind of hurt his Brazil chances, but he was still playing so well with the national team. But I think that's really where the question is where does he stand for the Brazil national team?
Because we're hearing reports that Ancelotti is looking to move on and basically christen another number 10.
But here's the weird thing, though.
Yet, but we're already hearing reports on that. So the fact of the matter is, it is looking like this was the straw that broke the camel's back. Yeah, maybe he was still playing well for Brazil, but it looks like this is kind of the excuse that Ancelotti needed to say, all right, I think we should move on and go in a different direction. I mean, yeah, he's 31 years old. Do you want to build your team around a 31-year-old? Brazil has so much young talent that they don't have to worry, and I don't think they should be forced to play anybody if they don't need to.
Yeah, so I think it's funny too that Ancelotti says, like, I have not made a decision to go in Brazil, but like everybody knows the man's going to Brazil, even though he hasn't publicly said it. And he's saying, like, I am my focus with Real Madrid. The man's going to Brazil. It is what it is. But as for Neymar, I think it is, man. I think if he would have stayed healthy, he would have still been on the team. He would have played in the next World Cup. I'm sure of it. I would have had no doubt. But I think now, and look, there's still a lot of time. We're 3 years away. Well, 2.5, almost two and a quarter. Oh, I don't know. We're about 3 and a quarter away.
2.5 because of Euro is the summer. So more.
So he's definitely not going to be playing in Copa America. He's not going to be ready for it, so he's not going to be playing. So Copa America is pretty much off the table. I think he was for sure going to play in that. Now with the torn ACL, he's definitely not even going to be ready in time to play for that. So there's no way that's happening. So next leaves the World Cup. I think he's going to get a chance. I think at the end of the day, he's Neymar. You know what I mean? He's been the face of Brazil for the past 10 years. This is Neymar. They're not just going to put him out in the pasture to die. You know what I mean? They're going to let him get a chance to recover, see how he plays at the club level, and bring him in. I think he will. I think he's going to get a couple of training camps. He's going to get some World Cup qualifying matches, maybe against some easier teams. I think they're going to trial him out because Brazil, at the end of the day, is good enough they can play Neymar and still win. Even if Neymar ends up not playing well, they can still play him in. So I think he's going to get a chance in these qualifying matches post Copa America. How well does he come back and play? I really don't know. I don't know because Neymar loves playing for Brazil. That's when he plays his best. Neymar always plays his best when he's playing for Brazil and when he is trying to get ready for a World Cup. We've seen it this past World Cup. He was playing really well with PSG. And he always does. Every time leading up to a World Cup, he amps it up. He plays at his best level. And I'm a firm believer that Neymar, as great as he has had a career, and I think you probably feel this way too, and a lot of people do, he was in his own way a disappointment. He should have been better. Neymar should have been getting Ballon d'Ors. He should have been at some point the greatest player on the planet.
Yeah.
He he was immensely talented, and at some points he was the most talented player in the world, and he should have been one of the best players. Well, he was always one of the best players, but he should have been the best player in the world. He should have took those reins from Messi a couple years ago, a few years. He should have done it years ago, honestly, when Messi was getting older. But Ronaldo, Messi kept on getting in that Ballon d'Or race for a long time. But Neymar, if he actually took everything seriously, I don't want to say he didn't take seriously because I don't know what goes on through a player's mind. But like, if Neymar lived up to his potential, like I said, he should have had multiple Ballon d'Ors. He should have been one of the greatest players in the world and potentially even won a World Cup. He could have led Brazil to a World Cup in 2014. And this season, I mean, this past World Cup, even though he did play pretty decent this past World Cup. So I think he's going to get a chance. I don't think it's over. I think they're going to let him get some games in qualifying, see how he does. But I think after that chance, and if he doesn't perform, I think it might be it. I think it might be it because him playing well in Saudi is not going to be enough for him to remain on the Brazil team. He has to play well for Brazil. And if he doesn't, it's probably pretty much all she wrote.
Yeah.
And with Ancelotti coming in, he's not going to really fit that system because Ancelotti coming from Real Madrid, all the Brazilians on Real Madrid, he's going to want to probably play in a 4-3-3. Neymar's going to be that odd man out because you're going to have Rodrigo, you're going to have Vinicius, you're going to have Rafinha, you're going to have those guys on the wing, and I just don't see where Neymar fits into that when it comes to Ancelotti getting in there because, like I said, I think Ancelotti's going to play a 4-3-3 because that's what these guys are used to. So we'll see. But I do think he's going to get his opportunities maybe in that striker position to see how he plays because the striker position for Brazil is so weak right now because Charleston is he's just not it for Tottenham and for Brazil. But he's kind of all Brazil has. So I think because of that, Neymar's probably going to get a shot in that role, kind of like a false nine type of role, like where he kind of drops back, kind of or striker role. So I could see that. I don't know if they do a 4-2-3-1. We'll see. It's all up to Ancelotti. But yeah, I mean, when's his contract with Real Madrid over? I mean, pretty much this season, right? I mean, this is the last season, and then he's switching over. He might coach, so he's probably going to coach Copa America. But I think Neymar at least deserves a chance, a shot. Like, and then after that, if he doesn't do it, he doesn't do it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see when he recovers and comes back. I think that it's not for me. I think that for the most part, his career is going to be considered, over, not over, but like
underwhelming.
What the rest will be underwhelming because I don't think it's just the injury that affects it. I think it's also Saudi Arabia move. I think going to Saudi Arabia, taking yourself.
I think it's pre-Saudi Arabia too.
That's the thing.
He never lived up to his potential.
But I think it's both in the same time. So now he's going to Saudi Arabia. He's past 30 years old, and he gets a bad injury. It's just kind of all of that in one. So I agree. I think he should get a shot with the Brazilian team, but I think that they know that he's not the future of their team, and I think that's really the key.
Yeah. Like, I think he gets a shot. I think that's really it. Does he perform well with that shot? I don't think he's ever going to be a starter again. He could play decent and he could be a bench player, but I don't, and maybe, become a super sub or whatever it is. But I think with this injury, he's probably lost his starting spot unless he's playing like a Paraguay or like a Venezuela or some weaker team. You know what I mean? So unless he's playing like a weaker team, he's probably not going to be starting anymore, which, it's kind of a shame because I mean, he was starting to play pretty well from Brazil these past couple World Cup qualifying matches, from what I understand. I didn't get a chance to watch those games, but from what people are telling me, he looked pretty decent. But yeah, man, it sucks because I love Neymar coming out, like especially like watching the 2014 World Cup and leading up to that, and then
Yeah,
those years in Barcelona and that big three of Suarez, Messi, and Neymar. It
yeah.
was incredible to watch, and like I thought Neymar was going to be, he was going to take Messi's crown and be the next greatest player in the world, but
And a lot of people
never
thought that
really.
as well.
I Neymar is more talented than Mbappe is. I personally think. I think talent for talent,
Talent-wise,
like
yes.
throughout his, for what he was as a prospect, as great as Mbappe is, and I think Mbappe is the best player in the world at this moment.
I think
Neymar in
Mbappe's
prime
mentality is what
Neymar
separates him. I think Mbappe isn't necessarily the most talented player, but he is extremely athletic. He's one of the fastest players in the world,
his
and
footwork is
his
incredible.
mentality. His mentality is very. I mean, considering his age and what he's been able to do, and at the highest level, um, man's a
I don't know.
winner.
I think Mbappe. I get what you're saying, but I also think Mbappe's immensely talented. I like
Oh, he's talented, but I'm just saying,
from a
I think that's
scoring
what sets him
perspective.
apart.
Is he's so lethal, and then his footwork, his step
You can't
overs.
be
And
that good
did you
without having talent.
did you see his goal against Kalulu against AC Milan? Oh my god, he put
Oh
him in a
yeah,
fucking merry-go-round. He But no, I think talent for talent, I think Neymar was always more talent. Neymar
yeah,
literally was like Ronaldinho 2.0. That's what he should
yeah,
have been. Like,
and that's what people thought he was going to be. So it's not unfair to say that in that regard he was underwhelming. I mean, was he a bad player? Of course not. I mean, he's won a lot of
even
shit. I
without
mean,
him,
come on.
even without him living up to his potential, he was still always like one of the most valued players in the world. Even without him
Yeah,
living up to his potential, like any team would have fucking killed to have Neymar in like
yeah,
4 years ago.
and yeah,
And
absolutely.